Men will stand shoulder to shoulder and talk, but they won't stand face to face.
The question is, John, what's the Men's Shed and how did you get involved with it? Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel, Stepping Up. You're on the road again with Tar, this time bringing to you a brand new episode from Moore Park Beach, just 25 minutes outside of Bundy. Today we'll get to hear insights about the beginnings of Men's Shed in Moore Park Beach and also how the services that they've provided have helped not only the community but also the men that get involved. I got to catch up with a delightful young man by the name of John Gatt, who's been past president out at Moore Park Beach, but also still require the help of volunteers that are willing to offer at least a few hours of their time in helping them to maintain consistency with the organization of their shed. So before we dive in, please subscribe to help this channel grow so we can reach out to other communities that have services that are available for those seeking to volunteer, but also to help men out there that are struggling with navigating their mental states. So stick around to the end so you can find out how you can get in contact with these guys. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, today I'm here in Moore Park Beach at the Men's Shed. I'm also joined here by John Gatt.
Yes.
Who's also been one of the OGs, I suppose, of...
Yeah, I'm one of the originals.
Yeah. So that's well, it's an honor to have you on today's show.
Pleasure to be here.
And I was just wondering if you could just share a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, I'm retired, as most men shedders are. We've only got a couple of people here who actually haven't reached retirement age. The most of us have. I'm an ex-motor mechanic, training manager for a multinational organisation. It was a regional training role. I was looked after training for Asia Pacific. With the Men's Shed, I'm classified as, or looked upon as, the workshop supervisor, which means I hand out the jobs, look at jobs that have got to be done, and I look after the machinery. I spent the last 4 years as president, but I stepped down last year to give somebody else a shot at it, and plus I was facing a bit of burnout anyway. So,
when you talk about the jobs that you get handed out, is that like people come here for?
People come here for with jobs for us to do. Sometimes they're paying jobs. Sometimes they're pensioners who they just want something fixed, and we just fix it up for them. And we do a fair amount of work for the community in that respect, generally as an individual, one-off type things.
Okay then, so the question is, John, what's the Men's Shed and how did you get involved with it?
Men's Shed is a federally funded or partially federally funded organisation, which is its intention was to assist men with their mental and physical well-being, because typically men don't like to talk about their problems, and it's very hard to get that information out of them. The adage that we have is that men will stand shoulder to shoulder and talk, but they won't stand face to face. So they won't stand in front of somebody and pour out their heartfelt issues or whatever. But they'll stand side by side at a workbench with them, and they'll happily converse all day long. So I got involved. I've retired. Moved up here from down south about 7 or 8 years ago, and I was looking for something in the community service, and I was a little bit old, I think, for the firefighters and SES, and then one day one of the locals posted a notice at the local supermarket asking if anybody was interested in forming a men's shed. We didn't have anything here. There was some half-hearted attempt made quite a few years back, but it never ever got off the ground. But this time it has. And I went along to the meeting and just sort of grew from there.
What was it like in the early stages of you at the beginning? It must have been so challenging.
It was it was challenging in that it was new ground. It was something that I'd never been involved in. I mean, I'd been involved in industry, as most of us have. As a worker, as a manager, as I said, as a regional manager, it's very different dealing with people when you're providing them with a salary. as distinct from people when you're looking to get something done on a volunteer basis. How do you get somebody interested in doing something that, in many cases, they've never ever done before? And this has been part of the challenge, is getting people to accept or look into these things that they've never done, but they have seen other people do, and actually getting them to do that. And you get a lot of satisfaction out of it. You see, we've got one guy here who's never ever worked with his hands at all. Well, he's rebuilding one of his childhood toys that he's passing on to his grandchildren and learning how to do this. And you think, yeah, this is great. We've achieved something. It's got him out of the house, got him out from under his wife's feet, because she's probably complaining that he's sitting around there driving her crazy. And a lot of us get the same sort of thing. We feel we've been thrown on the scrap heap in some cases. But yeah, that's basically how I suppose I got involved in men's sheds.
Would you say then, over time, as you throughout the years you spent here, you started to learn things about yourself, about the whole process?
Sure, yes, definitely learned that I'm not as flexible as I thought I could be, and maybe not as tolerant. But like I said, when you're trying to encourage somebody to do something, both for themselves and for you, it's you learn to be very diplomatic, very tactful. Well, you try anyway.
What's something that you'd like to see improved upon within the men's shed?
Well, our facilities, as you've seen, they're nothing. They're better than we started off with. I mean, we started off with a little two-bay garage, and basically, if we wanted to do anything, we had to move everything out so we could get inside and have a meeting. You had to almost step outside to change your mind. It was that bad. But we're now in a reasonable position, and we have a new shed being built, which is being partially funded by the council. It's government funded all the way through, which will enable us to do possibly bigger and better things. What I'd like to see is the ability to offer more different activities, and this is one of the things we're sort of more or less stuck here in the rut of working on pretty well just woodwork. To some people that's great. I love it, I enjoy it. But some people don't want to do that, and what I'd like to see is that we can start to offer bigger and better things, electronics, even cooking. There are lots of us that come. We've got one guy who comes along here every Wednesday and brings along pikelets, and they are the best pikelets you've ever tasted. He could teach somebody to do those, and that would be life-changing for them. But yeah, if we can offer sort of more things, we had a little garage band going at one stage, but that fell by the wayside. And one of the key things we need for this to happen, of course, is a few more people with more varied ideas and more varied requests. Because if somebody says, "Can we do such and such?" Well, my first thought is, "Yeah, how can we manage it?" It's not, "Oh, we don't do it." I'm one of these. I like to see different things happening. I like to see change. I embrace change. I don't find change an issue or a problem. It's just something else to look at.
What about with the admin side of things? Do you guys manage
admin's a big issue. I've never been a big admin person. As I said, I was original training manager, but I had people to do those sorts of things for me. So, I made policy, I made decisions, but the admin side of it soaks up a lot of time because we are a not-for-profit organisation, because we are government funded. They want to know exactly what we're doing and when we're doing it. So we've got to keep pretty good records, and we managed to do it. We've got a great treasurer. He's a volunteer. He's an ex mining site manager. So he's done the hard yards. He's great at handling all that sort of stuff. Our president's pretty good. No dramas there. He's worked for himself. He's worked for large corporations. So yeah, and in management roles, so he has no trouble really managing things. But yeah, the admin side of it is probably one of the difficult things. And if we get a few more people involved that are happy to take part in that. I mean, I know lots of people that are very happy to work on things like policy and decisions and all the rest of it. Great, come on in. We welcome you.
Yeah, at least if you could get 1 or 2 members that are willing to volunteer.
Well, we'll have room for a lot more members when we move into this new shed.
Nice.
And, of course, it's right in the middle of town, so it'll be a focal point.
Okay, so if I was a first-timer rocking up, what would I expect to walk into?
What was the first thing I offered you when you turned up?
Coffee.
There you go.
It was nice and warm welcoming.
So we're a very social bunch here. I mean, generally the first thing we say is come and have a sit down, have a chat and a cup of tea or coffee, whatever it is you like. We've got some bickies there. Just don't forget the gold coin donation when you leave. But yeah, we've sort of we more or less give you a tour of the facility, show you what we've got, tell you what we expect and what we don't expect or what we don't want to see. Basically, the only don't we have is that we don't denigrate anybody, or everybody has an equal say here. We're a very democratic organisation.
Is there also like an age limit or gender?
Minimum age is 16. And that's purely because below 16 we have to have all sorts of accreditation to deal with minors. Above 16 they're able to mix and mingle with adults. So that's the only reason. As far as gender goes, we haven't ruled out having women in there, but there are plenty of organisations that cater for women's issues, or for women to simply go along and either be entertained or kept busy or whatever it is they do, or for them to perform social type programs and that sort of thing, helping people out. There's plenty of them for women, so that's why it's not really been pushed with Men's Shed. But what I'd like to see, again, this is part of the diversification thing I was talking about. I'd like to see us offering, do-it-yourself handyman training for women who want to come along. Be another use for the building that we will be moving into shortly. We hope.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, it's a great idea. Well, John, look, before we wrap up, what 2 or 3 things would you like the listeners or the viewers to remember about today's discussion?
I suppose probably the most important thing is for people to begin to understand that men's health is a very tricky issue. Men don't want to talk about it. And it's no good pressuring them or badgering them to sort of tell me what's wrong. It's a matter of keeping an eye on them in many cases. And on top of that, understanding the 2 things, I suppose. The second thing would be that to become aware of the fact that there are organisations like this one. This isn't the only one, but there are lots of organisations that are prepared to help out where possible. We'll either, as I said, we've been in the situation where we've told people, husband can't drive, no problems, we'll come and get him. We're open these days. What time can we pick him up? What time do you want us to bring him back? We're happy to do it. It's part and parcel of the show. So for people to understand that, as I said, there are issues, and for secondly, that there are ways around it. There are ways of dealing with it.
And I suppose before we finally wrap up, any final thoughts?
Well, as I said, we're about to take over a new building, and we're going to need some financial support. So if there's anybody out there who's looking to donate to a wealthy cause, our primary concern at this stage will be getting electrical and some plumbing work done.
And where's the new location for the...
The new location is on... What's the name of the street? Oh, Club Avenue, Moore Park Beach, which is right next door to the community centre, in between the community centre and the bowls club.
How can they get a hold of you?
Can contact us through AMSA, Australian Men's Shed Association, and if you look us up, you'll find all of our details there. Failing that, email moreparkbeachmen@gmail.com, or Facebook is Moore Park Beach Men's Shed.
Cool, thanks. Well, look, I'll add the descriptions down below in today's episode, and thanks again, John, for everything. It's such an honour and a pleasure.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks.